Some people think tuna is boring, but today I'll get a fire going. Literally. And I will show you why this dish made me fall in love with Portuguese cooking again. Spoiler, I never stopped loving it. Hi, I'm Bruno, and this isn't your average tuna steak. We're talking whiskey flambe, umami sauce, and sweet potato fries dusted with my not-so-secret chicken salt. It's bold, it's dramatic, it's how we bring flavor to the table. Let's do it. Let's get the tuna ready. Because once the pan gets hot, there's no time for second thoughts. Start by patting your tuna steaks dry, really dry. If they're wet, they'll steam instead of sear. Now season, salt and some white pepper. Once seasoned, let the steaks sit at room temperature for a few minutes while we prep the rest. This does two things, helps them cook more evenly and gives the salt time to start pulling flavor inward. Just let the seasoning settle and let the steaks come to room temperature. And today I'm gonna use sweet potatoes. Peel them gently, there's something grounding about this part. No rhythm. Now I will slice them thin, really thin. If you have a mandolin, now it's the time to use it. But don't worry if you don't. A sharp knife and a steady hand can do the job beautifully. And the thinner the slice, the faster and more evenly they cook. Make sure to rinse them to lose excess starch and dry them after, the best you can. Instead of layering these slices on top of the dish, we're taking it up a notch. We're deep frying the potatoes first. Heat up your oil in a deep pan or fryer until it's hot enough to bubble gently around the edge of a slice. Around 170-180 is perfect. Drop the slices in carefully, in batches. You can overcrowd a little bit because the potatoes will shrink. And listen, that gentle crackle, that's the sound of comfort being made. Let them fry until they reduce in size and you can see all the crispy edges on the outside. Scoop them out with a slotted spoon and drain on paper towels. While they're still hot, sprinkle with a little salt. They'll stay crisp and seasoned. Now it's time to wake up those tuna steaks. We're not cooking them through, we're just building a crust. Think of this as the opening act before the sauce and flambe steal the show. Grab your pan and get it properly hot, medium-high to high heat. Add a thin layer of oil in the pan. You want enough oil just to help the tuna make clean, even contact. Place the tuna in the pan gently, away from you, and don't touch them. It's not a shuffle dance. Leave them for about a minute per side, maybe a little more if they're very thick. What we're after is color, not doneness. My tuna steak is not very thick, so I won't be able to get the dark brown crust I really want without overcooking it. But I'll try to get as much brownness as possible without overdoing the tuna. We want the inside to stay rare or medium rare at this point. We will be finishing the cooking later, so now is not the time to go all in. Once you get a nice sear on both sides, take them out and set them aside on a plate. Now we lower the heat and start building the sauce's base. Add the fresh drizzle of olive oil in the pan, and now we want enough to coat the bottom. This isn't a dry toast, it's flavor base. First in, the sliced onions and red pepper strips. Give them a quick stir to coat. Then add a small pinch of salt. The salt will help draw out moisture and speed up the softening. Just don't go overboard, especially since more seasoning is coming later. Now let them cook gently. Stir every so often to prevent sticking, but otherwise let the heat do its job. After 5-6 minutes, you can let a bit of color develop on the onions if you like. Just don't let them brown through aggressively. We're not making onion chips. Once they're nearly softened and glossy, add the minced garlic. And garlic burns fast, so it goes in late, just a minute or so before you flambe. And if at any point things looks dry, a small splash of olive oil will fix it. We're building comfort, not stress. Once the onions and peppers are softened and the garlic had a minute to wake up, it's time for the whiskey. Make sure your heat is at medium. Add a splash of whiskey to the pan. Do it with confidence, but don't pour like you're drowning sorrows. Just enough to bring that smoky sweetness and drama. Now carefully flambe. You've got two options. If you're cooking on gas, tilt the pan slightly towards the flame. The alcohol vapors will catch and light up. If you're on electric or induction, use a long lighter, off the heat, and ignite the surface gently. Step back, let the flames rise. They'll burn off quickly, just a few seconds, and leave behind a deep toasty aroma. That's flavor you can't fake. And if it doesn't catch fire, don't panic. The alcohol will still reduce and flavor the sauce. It just won't come with the fireworks. Dinner is still very much on. Once the flame dies, give the pan a stir. Scrape up any golden bits stuck to the bottom. That's where the real story is. And with the fire show behind us, now we build depth. Keep the heat at medium. The pan and a splash of Worcestershire sauce, just enough to bring that tangy, savory backbone. Follow it with a dash of fish sauce. Then pour in a little water or light stock. This loosens everything, lifting the caramelized bits stuck to the bottom. I'm using a prawn stock cube that I had in my freezer. Homemade. Grab a wooden spoon or spatula and start scraping. That's not just cleanup, that's the good stuff. Let the sauce bubble for a minute or two. You're not reducing it into syrup, just bringing the flavors together. Once it's bubbling and harmonized, it's time to bring the tuna back in. Keep the heat low now and gently nest the seared tuna back into the pan, right into that warm, savory sauce. Lay them down like you're tucking them in for a nap. Don't just drop them in like lost luggage. Cover the pan loosely with a lid or foil, enough to trap heat, but not enough to steam the life out of it. Let it steam for 1 to 2 minutes total. Once it's just right, we'll move on to the final touch. Texture, heat, and pure flavor in one irresistible sprinkle. Take your chorizo and give it a quick blitz in the food processor. Just a few pulses until it's finely minced. We're going for crumble, not spread. In a small pan, add the minced chorizo and let it sizzle, stirring occasionally. As it crisps up, you'll see it darken and release that beautiful smoky fat. Once it's starting to brown and you're definitely hungry, toss in a good handful of panko. Stir it all together so the crumbs absorb the chorizo oil and toast alongside it. Fry until everything's golden and crunchy, then transfer it to a paper towel to drain. Taste a little, just for quality control of course. Add a tiny pinch of salt if it needs it, but it shouldn't. This chorizo crunch isn't just garnish, it's a flavor confetti. And it makes people think you've done way more work than you actually have. And now with everything ready, it's time to plate up. Start with a generous layer of the onion and red pepper mixture on the plate. Forms the base that holds everything. Now gently place the tuna steak on top. If you want, you can slice it previously just before putting it on the plate. Spoon a little more sauce over if you got extra, it's not going to waste. And on the side, your sweet potato crisps. Sprinkle over some of the chorizo panko crunch whenever you want texture. On the tuna, on the onions, on the fries. You really can't go wrong. What we've made isn't just dinner, it's bold, layered, and unapologetically Portuguese. The kind of meal that doesn't whisper, it speaks. This tuna isn't dry, it's not boring, it's juicy, glossy, packed with flavor that comes at you in waves. Smoke, salt, sweetness, citrus, the onions almost melt. The sauce clings, and those fries, to me this dish feels like visiting my grandmother's house and the fancy Lisbon tavern on the same night. It's memory and reinvention. Portugal, past and present, on one plate. You remember when you thought tuna was boring and one note? Think again. Yeah, not anymore. Portuguese cooking is packed with seafood recipes. And in this video here, I'll give you another perfect summer dish that takes the flavor scale to a 10. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you there. Bye!